madness, absolute madness in Hyderabad, as the SRH reached the highest ever total in IPL history. They made 277, and in reply, Bombay made 246, which makes it 523 runs in 40 overs. Now, Travis Head was on debut for SRH. Abhishek Sharma and Heinrich Klaasen, they totally lit up the Hyderabad stadium in what seemed to be like a video game simulation. So, at what point did you start believing your eyes, Ayaz?
Well, I'm still rubbing my eyes in disbelief, Anirudh, because 523 runs in a T20 match is incredible. It just shows uh, where the game is headed. This format. I mean, are we looking at scores of 300, 300 plus? Who knows? At one stage when you look back, 200 was thought to be like the upper or the outer limit, but now 200 is actually becoming commonplace, and especially in the IPL. Given the kind of tracks that you get here, barring a few, or barring a few attacks which don't permit you that much leeway. But by and large, what we are seeing in this edition of the IPL is big scores being scored, big scores almost being chased down, sometimes being chased down. And as I mentioned, like if you're a player and you're sitting in the dugout and wondering what is the target you're going to chase, the first thing that crops up in your head is 200 certainly.
Yeah. So Mumbai Indians with this defeat have lost 2-2 now, and Hardik Pandya seems to be in the line of fire again. Do you think he's trying to do too much by himself? I mean, he's opened the bowling with that South African debutant, and then he's promoted himself ahead of Tim David in such a chase, and he also held back Bumrah, which seemed to be very controversial because Bumrah only bowled 1 over in the power play. So, do you think Hardik is taking too much on himself?
Well, I think, yes, clearly he's trying too many things. And it's not easy being captain of Mumbai Indians, 5-time champion. And then Hardik Pandya himself, he comes with, very fantastic credentials. In the 2 years that he's captain Gujarat, once they won the title, once they've been losing finalists. So there's a lot of expectations vested in him. And I think just perhaps you're right. And in fact, the Bumrah decision was confounding, to say the least. Because you might have, sometimes one can overthink as a captain, as a coach, as a team, as a whole group, and say, he's our trump card. They've got these big hitters. They'll send the ball out of the park against other bowlers. So let's keep him towards the back end. Let's try and pick up a few wickets early and then see what happens. But it didn't work out that way. And by the time Bumrah came on, I think, Hyderabad were well on their way to 200 and beyond. And finally, 270. Well, 278 to chase down is extremely difficult. It's daunting, and it would have been astonishing had they got there. But 246 is, I mean, it still boggles the mind.
Yeah. So moving on, we saw Chennai winning again at home, which takes them to top of the table. They defeated Gujarat Titans by 63 runs, and it was a great game for Shivam Dube, who seems to have cemented his spot in that side. Now, what I want to ask is that do you see an improvement in Dube to the extent that he can make it to the Indian team, or is it just because we're seeing him perform through yellow tinted glasses?
Yeah, that's a nice play on words. No, but I think, look, I think maybe we've discussed this, or maybe I've mentioned, or maybe I've written in the week that as far as I see it, as of now, there are only 4 certainties for me in the Indian team for the T20 World Cup, and that is Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah, and Ravindra Jadeja. And therefore, there are lots of places open in the squad for players. Players like, for instance, there are 5-6 wicket keepers trying to get into 1, maybe maximum 2 slots. That is if one of the wicket keepers plays as a specialist. There are multiple spinners, multiple fast bowlers, and therefore also guys like Rinku Singh, Shivam Dube, those strong finishers, those guys who can hit the ball long and hard. They're also in the running. So Shivam Dube is doing himself no harm at all. His career has seen a turnaround since last season, when he kind of made up for a couple of poor seasons, and he seems to have found his groove in the CSK environment. He's just playing like a champion batsman and a match winner. So who knows? This is a long season. There'll be lots. As I mentioned, there are multiple claimants for each position. Apart from the 4 that I mentioned, you can add Shubman Gill and Yashasvi Jaiswal, some of those who are closer to selection than the others. But yes, there are multiple claimants for most other positions.
Yeah. You spoke about Dube playing as a champion batsman. we take you to the actual champion batsman which seems like a long time ago now, but Virat Kohli scored a crucial 77 of 49 balls to help RCB defeat Punjab Kings. Now, this was a crucial knock for Virat, who's coming back. He looks rejuvenated. He said so himself after the match. He said, "I still got it." So, do you see this? Do you see any changes to his approach in his batting right now?
No, I think, look, sometimes, Anirudh, I think we make too much of. I mean, do you really need to explain an approach to Virat or even to Rohit or some of these guys who spent almost their entire life playing, 15 years playing international cricket? They've been through a lot of crisis. Somebody like Virat has seen the lowest of lows for 3 years almost. And then he's come back, he's come roaring back. And you have to acknowledge, you have to give him credit for the way he's fought himself back out of the doldrums. And here he is, he's batting like a champion. He's had a marvelous 15, 18 months in the international cricket. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to change and adapt if the need be, if the situation arises. You don't have to go and say every time that I'm going out to play that I'm going to bat with intent and this is what I need to do. I mean, that's a given. It's how you adjust and adapt to a match situation that becomes important. So I see him actually, he's arguably your best player in the side today. And if there are other claimants to it, one of them is Rohit Sharma. So most of the time, the attention is targeted at these two guys because they happen to be now on the wrong side of 30, not for any other reason. But that is not a good enough reason to believe that they can't do it. And I think Virat is right up there. I think in the vanguard where India's prospects in the World T20 are concerned as a batsman.
Yeah. That's it. So I must say that it's too early to set up any trends and make any bold predictions. But we'll just say that we'll be here. We'll be covering the IPL and we'll bring you the next episode in a couple of days. So that's it for this episode of Sports Zone. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Anju.